As with any jiu-jitsu game that you're playing, and regardless of who you're going against, you have to be first. You have to be the person that's initiating that attack. If you're attacking, they are defending. And if they are defending, they are losing. And that's the kind of mindset that you need to have when you're doing jiu-jitsu. Be first. And there's a reason why you want to be first, because you're dictating that pace. If there's space between you and your opponent, the person who's in control of that space is the person who's winning that fight. So you have to keep that in mind. No matter how large or minimal that space is, you have to be in control of that space. So as we're going through all of our options here, whether it's our side control option, knee to belly option, whether we're applying those chokes, we have to constantly be attacking, so that they're constantly defending, which means that they are losing. And it really comes down to one question. Are you better at doing your game than they are defending your game? And the chances are, yes. Because they're not practicing to defend your game, they're practicing to do their game. So if you get started first, they're defending. And at the end of the day, you need to win one of those battles, where they have to win every single one of those defensive battles, otherwise they lose their match. And that's kind of that mindset that you need to think about. So as we're coming into this option, and we have our knee to belly, we're sitting here trying to choke him and all this other stuff, I start setting up this lapel choke, and I've gotten all the way down to the very end. And again, no matter how good you are at doing what you do, it may not always have that end result that you want. But you got to keep in mind, up to this point, what has happened? He's carried your weight, he's fought against you, he's extremely tired, and he's had to win every single one of those battles. When you attack, he's got to defend, and he's got to be 100% with his defenses. So as I'm here, as I'm starting to get this, he starts to see what I'm doing, he's defending, and he's just kind of clamming up. So a lot of the time, they might just get to the point where they start to move. And either one, you can kind of bait them for it by pushing this elbow and kind of trapping. Or two, sometimes they're just going to go. Once you release that shoulder pressure, they're just going to roll. And they forget. And this happens more often than not. Even at the higher levels, they're going to forget that arm. And I can set up my armbar option from here. Now again, when we set up our armbar options, I'm slowing him down. Notice that we're here. I'm keeping this rib connection with my shin across the ribs. But I'm also have the option to come in here, block, I can step over, and now I'm starting to set up my armbar options. And notice how I grab this leg. I grab this leg to keep him from doing his pendulum. I make sure that I have a nice tight grip, closing the distance between my hips and my ankles. That way I can lock his face into position. I'm not going crazy to start yanking back on that arm. I want to make sure that when I sat in that position, I had a good solidified position prior to sitting down. Here now, I'm doing my pinch, starting to lean towards his hips, I'm controlling his hips, and I can get that arm bar the way that I want. If we find ourselves here, again, and maybe he's not going to throw his arm, he's not going to turn away, and it's one of those deals where maybe I want to set in for a mount option. I can always do this. I can bring his arm across. He's starting to defend, and as he starts defending, notice how I'm bringing that knee across the body. Now I can tuck in. And I like to do a little bit of a different type of mount. Once I come in here, you'll notice that my knees are behind my hips, which means that all my weight is carried on his diaphragm and his solar plexus. I'm using these hands simply to balance. So as I come into this mount, I automatically maintain that pressure with him. So we're here, sitting here doing all this, isn't quite working. Maybe I just open him up a little bit, just bring that knee across. I'm already hooking. I'm here. Notice that my knees are not here. I don't release pressure. I keep them here, heavy. I'm binding on his legs. And I can just be here in this free fall position. This gives me the ability to now start setting up my chokes. If I already had this one, I can maintain that grip. Whatever it is that you want to do, but I'm not releasing any pressure for him. He's got to carry my weight the entire time.